today of every color, creed, and belief are gathered here in a demonstration of the American story. Today, you might feel scared, and I know what it feels like to be scared. My name is Amanda Nguyen, and I am a rape survivor. And I remember after my rape, I felt despair, but I also felt fire. So when I met a broken criminal justice system, like so many survivors who find out that their untested rape kits can be destroyed, I rewrote the law.
I remember walking into my local area rape crisis center and the waiting room was filled. And at that point, I realized my story is not mine alone. I say it often that the worst thing that happened to me wasn't being raped. It was being betrayed by a broken criminal justice system. There's a long tradition of people taking their painful living truths and channeling that into justice. And so I chose to join that tradition by penning my own rights into existence.
This may be very difficult, but thank you for being that brave. We'll start with Amanda and then go to Mr. Cruz.
I asked people to walk with me from all walks of life to help me pen the Sexual Assault Survivor Bill of Rights. In some states, survivors are forced to pay for their rape kit procedure. It can cost up to $2,000, and there are creditors who call you if you can't afford to pay for it, and that's absolutely unfair. One of the rights in the Sexual Assault Survivor Bill of Rights is to make sure that survivors don't incur the cost of their rape kits.
2 bills to help sexual assault survivors moved forward in Washington.
This vote, the yeas are 399, the nays are 0. The bill is passed, and without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
We passed our first federal law by GoFundMe. There were individual donors that helped us, and it was possible. So I don't want people to use money as a reason why they can't start creating the campaign that they want to. I want people to understand that there's a lot of capital out there. There are people who will be willing to give you resources if you believe in your own idea enough. The process of passing a law and that training is the program that we teach to our current risers. Risers are what we call our organizers. In cities across America, there are umbrella organizations that, for tech entrepreneurs, provide them seed funding, mentorship, and training, and that doesn't exist for civil rights until now. We provide benefits, access to professional services like lawyers, seed funding, and essentially cover the opportunity cost of an organizer, an activist, or someone who has an idea to change their community, to have their barrier to entry lowered. The first team we're so proud to work with are students, survivors, and friends of the Parkland shooting.
Hello!
Hey.
Ah! Okay.
My name is Robert Schentrup. I am a junior at the University of Central Florida, and I am a gun violence prevention advocate. I got into this space post the shooting in Parkland. I lost my sister Carmen Schentrup, who was only 16 at the time, to gun violence at Marjory Stoneman Douglas that day. Afterwards, I got involved in the activism around reducing gun violence across America, and I have founded, along with many other survivors and youth across the country, an organization called Zero USA to do just that.
We're gonna gavel this in. Robert Schentrup.
We talked to her about her work with RISE over dinner and got to better know each other. She talked to me specifically after being impressed with our conversation about joining the Rise Justice Labs Accelerator program and being one of the pilot programs of this initiative. And I said yes.
This is the pen that Barack Obama used to sign our federal law into law.
The accelerator has been huge in helping us get off the ground, providing that seed funding so we can go do activities such as going to hearings, lobbying in states, sharing our stories person to person with representatives is extremely important, especially on a polarizing issue like this one. Having that seed funding and money available to do that takes a lot of pressure off us and make sure that we can focus on the legislation as the key aspect, not necessarily having to deal with fund development.
I have to say that the thing I'm most proud of is meeting organizers who have been able to pass their own laws. Folks like Robert, who can describe my own theory better than I can. The whole point of Rise Justice Labs, the whole point that I created this roadmap and blueprint called Hopenomics is so that other people can do it better than me. We're so grateful to the individuals who have helped us. Craig Newmark, for example, is one of our greatest supporters. He believes in everyday people's ability to create change.
I had observed that Amanda, along with Rise, had actually gotten real results in an area that I understood was really important. I'm particularly interested in law that helps the victims of sexual violence. We're far behind where we should be as a country in dealing with that kind of crime, and it gets me kind of angry to hear about it. And so this way, I get to help people who are helping other people do something about it. And these days, it's pretty good news when anything like that can happen.
There are folks who can contribute in their own way to building social movements. And then there are folks who are believers, who are catalysts, who, with their support, enable us not only to achieve a vision, but to accelerate that vision. We are now the most successful legislative reform movement in modern US history. Let me show you this. So, okay. These are the nomination letters that my nominator submitted to the Nobel Committee, which are super cool. That's the federal law. And then this is, this section here reminds me of where I came from. So this sign I wrote directly leaving the hospital after my rape. And a lot of people don't know this, but I had 2 heart surgeries in high school and I was in a wheelchair. I could not walk. I had to relearn how to walk. So this is like show and tell. The biggest thing that I've learned is that change is possible, that change at scale is possible. I hope it gives people agency. That's the most important thing. I want folks, survivors and allies and anyone to understand they can make a difference in the world. They can still retain who it is that they are while doing so. So I love space and science. I still want to be an astronaut, and I love fashion, and I love eating. All of these things don't have to be sacrificed in order for us to create change.
That's what drives me every single day with my work at Zero USA, that we are using these terrible events that happen to giving them meaning through policy change and making sure that their deaths are not in vain, but that we are making progress as a nation towards something in their memory.
I can't even put fully into words what it meant to see my own justice realized. That really was what this journey and what penning my own civil rights into existence meant to me. I remember standing here and then inside watching the votes get cast. Jeff Sessions and Elizabeth Warren standing together on it. They'll never do that again. But it was history. And played a small role in helping make that happen, and it's an incredible feeling. When we first started, people thought we were a joke, right? So being here after passing all these laws really proves to me that no one is powerless when we come together.
No one can make us feel invisible when we demand to be seen. To any survivor and ally listening, you are not alone. Wherever you are from, and whatever brings you here today, do not lose hope. That is what I did with my fire. What will you do with yours?